She signed 14 documents over a period of 6 months, every one prepared by the man she had hired to protect her. She found out, 14 months later, that every single one of those documents had been structured to work against her, not by accident, but by design. Here is what this story is about. Not the documents, but the precision of it, the specific way someone can study you, your fears, your gaps, your blind spots, and use that study to build something you will sign yourself, something you will believe you chose. And by the time you understand what you signed, the window to challenge it is almost closed, almost. Because she found one thing, one specific thing, and that one thing changed everything. Stay with this. She needed a financial advisor, not because she was wealthy, but because she was navigating something complicated. A divorce, a business, a set of assets that had been deliberately made difficult to trace. Her name was Delia, and she had been referred to him through a colleague, a trusted one, the kind of referral that comes with a personal guarantee. His name was Mr. Carver, 20 years in practice, credentials on the wall, a calm and measured manner that made complicated things feel manageable. She liked him immediately, and that was the first problem. Not because liking someone is inherently dangerous, but because she stopped assessing him the moment she liked him. Over the first 3 months, she told him everything: the business structure, the asset list, the specific ways her ex-husband had moved money in ways she could not prove yet. She told him her fears, that her evidence was not strong enough, that her timeline was too short, that there were 2 gaps in her case that she had not been able to close. She named both gaps. Specifically, she told him because that is what you do with the professional who is supposed to protect you. You give them the full picture. You name the gaps. You trust that the information goes nowhere except toward your protection. She named both gaps, and Mr. Carver noted them, in writing, in a file she would not see for 14 months. The documents started arriving in month 3, not all at once. They came, 2 here, 3 there. Each one explained clearly, each one reasonable on its surface. She was not a financial expert. She was smart. She was organized, and she had read everything carefully. But the documents were structured for someone who knew what they were looking at, and she did not know what she was looking at. She knew what Mr. Carver told her she was looking at, and Mr. Carver was very good at explaining things. The first set restructured a portion of the business assets. He told her it simplified her position. It did not simplify her position. It moved a portion of the assets into a structure that her ex-husband's legal team would find easier to access. But she did not know that. The second set established a timeline framework. He told her it protected her in the short term. It did not protect her. It created a window, a specific legal window of 14 months, after which challenging certain aspects of the original asset division would become significantly harder. The window was not accidental. It was engineered. 14 months gave enough time for Delia to feel the process was working, to feel settled, to stop looking closely. It also gave enough time for the other side to consolidate the position those documents had created. She signed everything he gave her, 6 documents in total. She signed them because she trusted him, and she had no reason not to, yet. 14 months after the first document, she found a discrepancy, not because she was looking, but because she was filing taxes and a number did not match. A small amount, $43, which most people would attribute to a rounding difference, an administrative error, but she did not. She pulled the original document, then the second document, then all 6, and she laid them out in order, and she did something she had not done before. She read them not as individual documents, but as a sequence, and the sequence told a different story than each document had told alone. The story the sequence told was this: over 6 months, in 6 carefully ordered steps, her financial position had been moved, not dramatically, not all at once, but incrementally, each step logical in isolation, each step building on the last, and the destination was a position that was significantly more vulnerable than where she had started. And the 14-month window, the framework established by the second document, was set to close in 3 weeks, so she sat with the 6 documents for 4 hours, and then she called a number she had written in the back of a notebook 18 months ago and never used, a second opinion she had promised herself she would get and had never gotten around to, but she got around to it, and that call lasted 90 minutes. And it changed everything, slowly and quietly and completely. Stop here, because what the second advisor found inside those 6 documents was not just negligence. It was not just a conflict of interest. It was a pattern, a documented, specific, provable pattern. And the pattern pointed to someone other than Mr. Carver, someone Delia had not considered. The second advisor found it in the 3rd document, a reference number, standard looking, routine, but the reference number corresponded to a file at a different firm entirely, not Mr. Carver's firm, a firm that Delia had no relationship with, a firm whose name she had seen once before on a document her ex-husband's lawyer had sent her 14 months ago. That connection, that one reference number in the 3rd document, connected Mr. Carver's work to her ex-husband's legal team in a way that should not have existed, not provably on its own, but with the full sequence, with all 6 documents read as one. It was the thread that made everything else legible. And so, Delia spent 4 days building the full picture with the second advisor. What they found was this: Mr. Carver had not acted alone. He had been in contact with her ex-husband's firm throughout the 6 months. He had been preparing her documents, not obviously, not on any official record, through an intermediary, a consultancy, one layer removed. The documents had not been designed to steal from her directly. They had been designed to position her, to move her financial situation into a place where her ex-husband's legal team could do the rest, quietly, legally, in a way she could not easily challenge. Mr. Carver had not done this for free. She found the payment in a consultancy invoice, $22,000, for services rendered during the 6 months he had been her advisor. The case went to a professional licensing body and a civil proceeding. I am not going to give you the specific outcome, not because it did not resolve, but because the outcome is not the point of this story. The point is the window, 14 months. That is how long the documents gave her, 14 months to find it. She found it in month 14, 3 weeks before the window closed, not because she was vigilant, but because a $43 discrepancy in a tax document made her pull a file. This was random, accidental, the kind of thing that most people would have rounded to an error and moved past. But she did not move past it. Here is the lesson. The professionals who hold your financial, legal, or personal information, they are not automatically safe. They can be compromised before you walk through the door during your time with them in ways that are technically legal and practically devastating. Here is what protects you. First, get a second opinion on anything significant before you sign, not after. Second, read documents as sequences, not as individual pieces. What does the full picture say when you lay it all out? Third, pay attention to small discrepancies. $43 changed everything. And fourth, the number you wrote in the back of a notebook and never called, call it before you need to. If you have ever signed something you did not fully understand because you trusted the person who handed it to you, one word in the comments. No explanation needed. Every story on this channel exists for one reason: to show you the mechanism, not just what happened, but how it was built. The 14-month window, the 6 documents read alone, the reference number in document 3, the $43. None of those things were accidents. They were a system. And systems can be seen once you know what to look for. That is what this channel is. One system, every week, shown completely, so you can see it before someone uses it on you. Shadow Betrayals, every week. If this one stayed with you, the next one will too. One word below. I will be here.